I am pleased you were allowed to join me here, Albert.
Allowed? I'm a grown man. I may go right, please.
Even with mysterious Monte Cristo.
We forget, Count, my mother has taken a deep interest in you. You must really be a very strange and superior man.
Yes, well, I suppose I have my moments.
My mother would have me draw you out and find the heart of your mystery.
Give it a bit. Surely something else will catch her eye soon enough.
Well, I doubt it. She speaks to me of little else.
What did she say?
Albert, she says to me, I believe the Count is of a noble nature. We must try to gain his esteem. So you see, instead of disapproving, she actually encouraged me to come with you.
Yes, well, you will recall what Shakespeare said. Woman is like a wave of the sea. I urge you to remember that.
Albert!
Eugenie! What are you doing here?
Albert, listen to me, all right? You must go home now.
Why? What's happened?
Your father has been accused of treason, and the Senate has called for a hearing.
What?
Your mother told me where to find you. I promised her I would tell you.
I'll fetch the carriage. We can leave at once.
I'm so sorry, Albert.
I don't know what to do.
Go be with your mother. She needs you.
Well, what about you? Where are you going?
Italy. First. I left my family out there. And I am getting as far from Paris as I can possibly get. A friend has given me letters of introduction, so I'm going to study.
A friend? It's the Count, isn't it?
He's an extraordinary man, Albert, and I cannot thank him enough for all that he's done. But Albert...
What?
The Count. It's as if he's building some great machine, and we're all just the cogs in the wheels. I mean, there's a motive behind every friendship. Can't you feel it?
The carriage is loading as we speak. We can leave whenever you wish, Albert.
Goodbye, Albert. And remember what I told you. Be careful. Count.
My lady.
Goodbye, Eugenie. Well, what now, Count?
The moment has come. Your enemy has made his move. Soon you will know him, and you will be able to act accordingly.
My lords, the Pasha of Yanina had up to the last moment honored me with his entire confidence. I show you now the ring, the mark of his authority, which the Pasha gave to me, so that I might at any hour, day or night, gain access to his presence. So great was his trust in me that I was chosen to represent him in negotiations that might have ended hostilities between his nation and the Turks. Unfortunately, the negotiations failed, and when I returned to protect my benefactor, he was dead, and his wife and daughter disappeared. I have supplied your honors with documents and other proofs of my statement. In the absence of an accuser, I demand the libels be named as such, and those guilty of spreading such falsehoods be punished.
Is there a witness that will corroborate the statements published against the Count de Morcerf?
Who's this? Let her in.
Your honors,
Down.
I can furnish this committee with important particulars regarding the conduct of the Count de Morcerf in this matter.
Come forward and state your business before this committee.
What is this?
I was there at the death of the Pasha of Yanina. I was present during his final moments. I know what became of his wife and daughter.
My lords, I have no idea who this girl is.
You claim to have been an eyewitness to this event.
I was.
But you must have been very young then.
I was 4 years old, but not a single detail has escaped my memory.
And who are you, and in what manner could this business concern you?
I am Haydee, daughter and heir to the Pasha of Yanina.
My lords, please. How can anyone support such a claim?
Can you prove the authenticity of your statements?
I can, sirs. This is the register of my birth, signed by my father and his principal officers. And this is of my baptism, my mother having consented to my being brought up in her faith.
Yes. Monsieur de Morcerf, do you recognize this lady as the daughter of the Pasha of Yanina?
No. No! This is a base plot, contrived by my enemies.
But I recognize you, monsieur. You are Fernand Bendedtto, the French officer who led the troops of my noble father. It was you who betrayed him to the Sultan, and it was you who sold my mother and me to the slave merchants of Armenia. Look well at that man, my mother said. You had a beloved father. You were destined to be queen. Here is the man who held your father's head on the point of a spear. Here is the man who sold us. Watch him closely as the pieces of gold fall one by one into his hand.
This is hearsay, my lord!
Young lady, what proofs do you offer?
I have one last document to present, my lords. This is a bill of sale. Please note the signature, your honors. My mother died in chains, and I was made a slave so that a French officer could gain 400,000 francs. I know him, my lords. Let him say he does not know me.
Mademoiselle, how came you here?
I was purchased again, sirs, 7 years later, by the Count of Monte Cristo.
Was it he then who counseled you to take this step?
I was led to this step by my own grief. I have always sought to revenge my illustrious father. I have always known that the traitor lived in Paris, and since I stepped foot in France, I have watched carefully. I am ignorant of nothing which passes in this world. This is a glorious day for me.
Count de Morcerf, this is your signature, is it not? Has the daughter of the Pasha spoken the truth? Speak, sir! Count de Morcerf? Count de Morcerf! This committee moves to press charges of felony treason, and that a warrant be issued for your immediate arrest!
Is there any news?
Mother, I must ask you. Do you know if the Count de Morcerf has any enemies?
Count de Morcerf? You do not say my father.
Does he?
Albert, tell me what has happened.
Mother, you recall on the evening of the party we gave how the Count of Monte Cristo would partake of no food in our house?
Why?
You know he has traveled in the Orient, and that it is customary there that one never eats or drinks in the house of an enemy.
Albert, whatever idea you are entertaining, dispel it. Monsieur de Monte Cristo has only shown us kindness. He saved your life, and my counsel to you is to retain his friendship.
And you have some special reason for wanting me to stay friends with him?
Albert, please tell me what has happened. Albert, I am not well. You should stay and share my solitude. I do not wish to be left alone.
Mother, you know how gladly I would obey your wish. But an urgent affair obliges me to leave you for the evening.
Danglars.
What?
Welcome to Rome.
How do you know my name?
If you'd be so good as to accompany me.
Who are you?
Luigi Vampa, at your service.
No. No! You can't help me!
Do not shame yourself, sir.
I've heard very well what happens here. How much do you require for my ransom? I can offer you 1,000,000 francs.
1,000,000 francs, you say? But you carry letters of credit totaling 5 million, do you not?
How do you know that?
How I know is not important, but it is true, and that is all that matters.
This is all I have left in the world. Why do you take 2 million?
Because what you ask is worth more than 2 billion.
3 million then. Surely you cannot refuse 3 million.
I can refuse it, and I do.
4 million. I can't believe you've ever received such a ransom before.
True, sir, but that still would not pay yours.
Fine. Take it. Take it all.
Keep your money, sir. You will need it.
What? You're not going to kill me?
I am prohibited from shedding your blood, sir. In fact, I am to furnish you with all the services you may require. Are you hungry? Would you like some wine or water? You may have anything you desire, but I should warn you that our prices are extravagant.
You do not allow me to purchase my freedom, and yet you expect me to pay for my food while you hold me in captivity? That is madness!
That is the price of survival.
And what happens when I have no more money left to pay?
Then you will truly suffer.
Monsieur Bendedtto,
Who are you?
I have a message for you from a friend.
And who is this friend?
The Baroness Hermione Danglars.
Where is she?
She asked that you meet her here tomorrow night.
This? This is the house of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yes, monsieur. She said that you would understand when you leave.
Cavalier has attained his object. Good evening, Monsieur de Morcerf.
I have not come here to exchange hypocritical expressions of politeness. I've come to demand an explanation.
At the opera.
We must avail ourselves of an opportunity whenever our object can be seen.
Where have you come from, sir? You do not appear to be in possession of your senses.
I followed your advice. I waited for my enemy to reveal himself. He has. I'm here. Do I make myself clear?
Mind your tone, Albert. People are starting to stare.
Let them.
It's in poor taste to make a display of a challenge, Viscount. Consider your glove thrown, sir. Now leave at once, or I shall order my servants to throw you out the door. Now, pistols then. At 8 o'clock. Now go home. And go to sleep before you hurt yourself with all of your ill-chosen barbarisms. Madame de Morcerf, how may I be of service?
It is not Madame de Morcerf who comes to you. It is Mercedes Edmond.
What did you call me? I know no one of that name.
Don't, Edmond. I knew you when I first saw you admiring my painting, and I didn't say anything because I thought you must have some good reason for hiding your true self, but after that night in my garden, I think you wanted me to know. Ever since that moment, I have followed your steps, watched you, feared you, and I need not inquire the hand which dealt the blow that now strikes Monsieur de Morcerf.
Fernand, you mean? While we were recalling names, let us remember them all.
Spare my son, Edmond.
And who told you, madam, that I have any hostile intentions against your son?
He attributes his father's misfortunes to you.
Madam, you are mistaken. They are not misfortunes. It is a punishment.
And why do you represent Providence? Why do you remember when it forgets? What is the Pasha of Yanina to you?
You are right. It does not concern me. All of this is an affair between the French general and the Greek princess. I have sworn to revenge myself, not against the French general or the Count de Morcerf, but against the fisherman Fernand, husband of Mercedes.
Edmond, if you owe revenge to anyone, it is to me.
No.
I did not have the fortitude to bear your absence and my solitude.
But why was I absent? Why were you alone?
You were arrested, Edmond. You were in prison.
And why was I a prisoner?
I don't know. I never knew.
Do you recall the night before our wedding? I had just arrived home from my latest voyage, and we held hands as we strolled through the streets of Marseille. Do you remember? We passed by an inn and saw our two dear friends, Fernand and Danglars, sharing a bottle of wine with old Caderousse. We called to them, but they didn't seem to hear.
I remember.
They were busy composing this letter. Go on, read it.
The king's attorney is informed by a friend to the throne and religion that one Edmond Dantes, second in command on board the Pharaon, this day arrived from Smyrna, is a bearer of a package from the usurper Napoleon Bonaparte to his agents in Paris. Should the package not be found with him, it will assuredly be discovered in his cabin on board the Pharaon. Corroboration of this statement may be obtained by arresting the above-mentioned Edmond Dantes.
This cost me 200,000 francs to track down. But that is nothing. This resulted in my arrest. This ended my life, and you never knew. How could you have known that I remained within a quarter of a league from you in the dungeons beneath the Chateau d'If for 14 years?
Can it be?
It can, madam. Also that Danglars could earn the title of captain ahead of me, a title which you would throw away a few years later to become a banker. And also that Fernand could replace me as your husband. They wrote this the night before our wedding and delivered it to the deputy prosecutor as Caderousse looked on and laughed. The very next day, all three of them stood silently in the churchyard as the gendarme dragged me from the altar and led me to my death. But now I, betrayed, sacrificed, and buried, have risen from my tomb by the grace of God to punish them. He sends me for that purpose, and here I am.
Forgive, Edmond, for my sake.
Impossible, madam.
Edmond, why do you not call me Mercedes?
Mercedes. The name still has its charms. This is the first time in a long while that I've pronounced it so distinctly. Mercedes. I have uttered your name, a sigh of melancholy, a groan of sorrow with the last effort of despair. I have uttered it frozen with cold, crouched on the straw in my prison. I have uttered it consumed with heat, lying on the stone floor of my dungeon. For 14 years, I suffered, I wept, I cursed, and now I tell you, Mercedes, that I will have my revenge.
Revenge yourself then, Edmond. But let your vengeance fall on the culprits, on Fernand, on me, but not on my son.
The sins of the father shall fall upon their children unto the third and fourth generation. If God himself dictated those words, why should I seek to do any better?
And on ever since I first knew you, I have adored your name. I have respected your liberty. And my friend, do not compel me to tarnish that pure and noble image of you. If you only knew all the prayers that I addressed to God when you were living, how many more when I thought you were dead? What can I do for you besides pray? And Lord, I swear to you, as guilty as I was, I have suffered much.
Have you known what it is to see a woman that you loved give her hand to your rival while you perish at the bottom of a dungeon?
No, but I have seen him whom I loved on the point of murdering my son.
What would you say if you knew the extent of the sacrifice you ask of me? Suppose that God had stopped in his work to spare an angel the tears that might one day flow from mortal sins from her mortal eyes. Suppose that when the moment had come for him to look upon his work and see that it was good, suppose he had snuffed out the sun and thrown the world back into eternal darkness. Then, even then, Mercedes, you could not understand when I lose! When I lose in this moment! Let Albert live then.
Edmond, though I no longer resemble my former self in my features, you will see that my heart is still the same. I have nothing more to ask of heaven. I have seen you again, and I have found you to be just as noble and just as great as I always knew you were. Thank you. Thank you, Edmond. Adieu.
My lord, they say the affair is serious and unavoidable. They say you are to kill him.
Do they? Haydee. I'm going on a journey. If any misfortune should happen to me along the way, I wish for you to be happy.
You're going to spare him, aren't you?
I am.
It is a matter of honor, my lord. Albert will kill you. He has to.
I know it.
What has happened, my lord?
Same thing that happened to Brutus the night before the Battle of Philippi.
You have seen a ghost. What did this ghost tell you?
That I've lived long enough. I've left my will upon the desk, my fortune's yours.
Bequeath your fortune to others, my lord. If you die, I shall require nothing. I had but one purpose in this life, and that purpose is fulfilled. Now the only thing that binds me to this earth is you.
Hey, I can't.
You have an appointment in the morning, my lord. I shall not keep you from it.
Soon, Mother. I wish to be early.
Of course, but you still have a moment. I wish to tell you something before you go.
Mother, please don't.
Just listen. If you still must go, once you've heard me out, I won't try to stop you.
I asked you before what special reason you had for me to stay friends with this man.
The story I wish to tell you is not about the Count of Monte Cristo. It is about a very different man whom I knew before you were born. This man's name was Edmond Dantes.